Alright, I'm done. I usually come in here with a structured breakdown, but today, no. Today, I'm just pissed off. Trump just made one of the biggest crypto moves in the US history, signing an executive order for a crypto reserve. That's right. The US government is getting ready to stockpile digital assets. Sounds bullish, right? Wrong, because the way this is being handled is beyond shady. I've seen pump and dumps, I've seen meme coins, rug pulls, but watching the highest level of government play the same games as the degenerate influencers, that's a whole new level of insanity. So today we are going deep into the mess, what Trump just did, how this changed crypto forever, and why this could be one of the biggest financial scams of all time. Stay locked in because I am about to lay it all out. So I have ChatGPT right in front of me. On March the 6th, 2025, President Donald Trump signed an executive order establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve as a US digital asset stockpile. The strategic Bitcoin reserve is to be capitalized with Bitcoin currently held by the US government, primarily obtained through criminal or civil asset. This reserve aims to maintain the assets as store of value with no immediate plans of their sale. Additionally, the executive order authorizes the Secretaries of Treasury and Commerce to develop budget-neutral strategies for acquiring more Bitcoin. That's very important. So the first thing, obviously, which is very important to understand, is that right now they are not planning to buy any assets, no cryptos. That's why we also see Bitcoin not really doing anything after this news, and why I truly believe it's kind of like a scam. So it's big news, market is not doing anything, which is pretty okay. It pumped a little bit once at the end of the day it came out, but it came back down again. Basically buy the news and then sell when the event comes, right? But very important is that the strategic Bitcoin reserve is to be capitalized with Bitcoin currently held by the US. So that's what they already hold. These criminally used cryptos that were then frozen, taken into the US government, or basically obtained by them, right? They will basically be put into the reserve. But it gives, and that's very important for the future, it gives the Secretaries of Treasury and Commerce to develop neutral strategies for acquiring more Bitcoin. So there is the possibility for them to do that. US digital asset stockpile will consist of other digital assets acquiring through similar fortune, proceeding with the Treasury responsibility for the management. So they will have to come up with strategies. It's under their management, which is really good for us. So it is negative right now. It is very positive for the future, but it's very, very interesting because at the end of the day, it's kind of like a scam. And that's why I say that, because they are using cryptos that were already detained, that were taken, right? They're not buying new ones and they're just putting it into the reserve. So a very smart move in the perspective of Trump. At the end of the day, the establishment of the strategic Bitcoin reserve and the US digital asset stockpile reflects the administration's commitment to embracing digital assets and supporting the growth of the cryptocurrency industry. By centralizing and strategically managing these assets, the US government aims to harness the potential of national prosperity and technological leadership, which is what Trump stands for. He said in the beginning he will come out with executive orders, and that's really good that finally now an executive order came, even though he said it will be a day one execution. It was not. We're already 3 months into basically the year. Q1 is ending, and therefore now he finally did, right? Which is really, really good. But what gets me pissed at the end of the day is that yes, there is this executive order, but it's only consisting of Bitcoins that are already in their possession, where they move it now into the treasury, but it gives up a lot of potential for the future. So this actually means for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptos that they have a lot of potential for the future. Therefore, this also matches with what I'm saying, that in the last quarter of this year, or let's say Q3 and Q4, will be a very interesting one where we'll probably finally see Bitcoin at $125,000, Ethereum at $8,000 to $10,000, Solana at $400. At the end of the day, it is a very good move, and I truly believe it's a power move. It's grabbing the power of leading digital currencies, of putting money into that. Trump and his administration talks a lot about Bitcoin being the new gold, and it makes a lot of sense. And therefore, which is very important, once America leads in that, other countries will follow. Now, Germany is the best example. A year ago, a couple of months ago, sold all of the Bitcoins at a very low price because there was no such executive order like now we have it in the US, which again will impact every other country and will force them to hold these reserves. Because back in the times, gold reserves, every country had gold reserves. Now these gold reserves were sold over the last couple of, let's say, decades. Now there's countries with a lot of gold, there's countries that don't have gold anymore, right? Or got robbed by their gold or had to give it up to the other power. And at the end of the day, the US is always leading with that. And if the US now imposes this, then other countries will follow, which is very positive. Therefore, they will put these cryptocurrencies in their reserves, but they're not buying them right now. That's also why people got completely confused. And that's why I say, again, it's a scam, because it got a big fake out in the market. Markets went up 10, 15, 20%, came back down again, because at the end of the day, right now, the markets are just very, very emotional in that sense. And the people, right, they're very fearful. Any good news pumps the market, but then the news are actually not so much of a substance as this decision right now, because again, it consists of already locked Bitcoins and not purchasing new ones. Therefore, there will be no price impact because they're not buying new ones. It's the one they already have. But if they start to buy them in the future, that will be very, very interesting. Another thing that is very suspicious is that before this came out, right, there was a tweet from Trump's side, not Trump directly, I think it was from his son, that said buy Ethereum. And then afterwards, there was a position that was open with 200 million US dollars. And then basically all of this happened, right? And Trump came out and say he will sign this executive order. So is there insider trading? I don't know. Another reason why I say this is a scam. It's kind of funny how they're managing it right now. And so far, I'm still very confused. And that's why I'm insanely pissed. Is Trump actually just playing around and putting money into his pockets with his little crypto gang, right? Or is he really doing something good for the future and he has good intentions and they are not manipulating to profit from it? That is the question, but it kind of looks very scammy right now. So what that means for the crypto market, and the easy way explained, is that we have a very choppy time right now. It will be a harder time. It will be a time where we will probably see lower prices in crypto. We will continue to liquidate a lot of people out of the market. Many people will get insanely pissed at the market, therefore emotional, therefore sell their cryptos. And when these sell orders come in at the $70,000, $75,000 Bitcoin, maybe $1,500, $1,800, $2,000 Ethereum, we will probably go sideways for a couple of months until after the summer times, and then Q3, Q4 of 2025. I truly believe we will see these insane prices. So the best way how to protect yourself right now is by the end of the day, not being emotional, not getting too excited if the market starts to pump and have a positive upside of, let's say, 10, 15%, and then FOMOing in, like being so scared that now the bull run will start and you're missing it because maybe you already sold or you didn't invest yet. I truly believe, also by the questions that I get privately from the leaders that I lead, from the trading community that I lead, and so on, I have a very good feeling of the sentiment, how people feel, what questions they have. And one of the questions right now is, should I still invest into crypto? And I truly believe, my opinion, not financial advice, is yes, you should continue to buy in, because these low prices, you won't get them anymore in the future, and they're very, very interesting. Most of the times, as again, institutions now are leading the market, prices come back to their entry, and that's what normally happens in the forex markets, in the stock markets, right? And that's what's happening in crypto now. If you go into Ethereum right now and you check 1 year ago, we are basically at the same price or even a couple of percent in minus. That means a year ago, if you would have invested into Ethereum and you hold it until today, you would be a little bit in minus right now, because prices come back to their original entries. And that is something that we see a lot in institutionalized markets, where market makers, institution, hedge funds, and so on, they drive the market. So there's a big similarity over there. Therefore, I'm not saying that you should be scared. That's just how it goes. It feels very scary for the people that don't understand this new age crypto market, how the crypto market moves right now, which is a more institutionalized, kind of similar to the forex market. This isn't just about Trump and crypto. This is about power, money, and control. If you think this is the start of the US playing fair with crypto, you are wrong. This is a hostile takeover of the entire industry, disguised as a pro-crypto move. The real winners, the insiders, who knew before you didn't. But it's not over. there's still a way to come out on top. If you want to stay ahead of the game, hit subscribe and turn on notification. Because trust me, this is just the beginning. And now I want to hear from you. Is this good or bad for crypto? Drop a comment below. Let's talk, because this story is far from over.